Hey everyone, I'm everyday Buddyfighter, and well, so when I play with people online, or even the rare instances I actually get to play Buddyfight in real life, I tend to notice that like newer players tend to have difficulty with some of the rulings. I'm just gonna make this series of videos that just explains how the game works. So this is Buddyfight Basics, and we're gonna start with your flag cards, which is one of the most important cards in your deck. The flag card goes on the center of the field. Also share the same slot with your item, which is slapped on top of your flag. Why that is, I don't personally understand, but it is how it is. So there are different kinds of flags. As I'm fully aware, there are 23 flags, starting with your basic flags, which are just the different worlds present in Buddyfight lore, or if you've seen the anime, you know what I'm talking about. Dragon World, Danger World, Magic World, Katana World, Ancient World, Hero World, Dungeon World, Legend World, Darkness Dragon World, Star Dragon World are the 10 world flags. They all basically say the same thing. You can use this world and generic cards, and like the rules state, you start with hand of 6 cards, life of 10, engage of 2. So using Dragon World as an example flag, obviously if you have Dragon World as your flag, you can play any cards that list Dragon World on the very bottom of the card, such as Drum Bunker Dragon, and the generic cards are just the white cards that are labeled as generic. They don't have specific loyalty to any sort of world, so they're just labeled as simply generic. According to the rules, you can put cards from different flags into your deck, even if they don't correspond with your flag. It's not against the rules. However, the cards are treated as blank, like they don't have text. They're just kind of just cards in your deck. They don't do anything. You can't play them. Even if you would play them, they go straight to the drop zone. So, though it is worth noting, there are exceptions to this rule, such as Fake Replica Weapon Gem Clone, which allows you to use impact monsters from other worlds that are not just Hero World. So in Triple D, dual cards were introduced, such as Star Deity Dragon Zodiac, which features a Legend World and Star Dragon World on the bottom text. This says that you can play it in either Legend World or Star Dragon World. It is okay to play it in both. Same thing also applies to triple cards such as Balsileo. The Buddyfight 100 anime introduced the Omni Lords. The Omni Lord is a keyword, which means that you may use this card with all flags. You may have up to one of this specific card in your deck if you use it with none of the corresponding world flags. So you can use Omni Lords in all flags, honestly, and you can have like one of each of non-corresponding flags, which is why recently like a lot of decks would run like one copy of Count Dawn, because you can revive it in any flag, it doesn't matter which one. Of course, there are just some cards that can be used with all flags. So these cards will just specify, they're mostly spells that just specify that they be used with all flags. And finally, there's a new keyword that comes out in the Drenite set. The Dragod, the Gargantua Dragons cards, is used to say you can use this card with all flags. Now it's just Dragod. So any Gargantua Dragon with Dragod, you can use in any flag you want. Multiple copies at 4, it's all fine. Of course, there can't only just be regular flags. There are special flags that exist, such as Dragon Eye, Parade of 100 Demons, Divine Guardians, Searing Executioners, Dragon's Y, the Chaos, Thunder Emperor's Fangs, each which change the structure of your deck in some way or help to change your initial starts. There are certain cards that are only allowed to be used under these special flags. These cards will specify them on the text that they can only be used under this flag. And of course, there are cards without any world loyalty, but they have certain attributes that are only usable under certain flags, which means that this card is pretty much just is flag locked, not world locked. And final kind of flags are flag evolutions, which are cards like Infinity to Chaos, Dragon Dry, and Lost World, each which give your deck a specific little boost that you might need to win. And of course, each has their own specific conditions for using them, which you can read on the card. It is worth noting that there are, of course, crossover cards, which have been recently added to Buddyfight. These crossover cards have their own flags. So far, there is Detect Conan, Bang Dream, and Idol Master. But there are specific new rules that come with these flags. The main thing is that you cannot use crossover cards with regular Buddyfight cards. Like there's like a little emblem underneath. It says what the crossover is. You can only use those cards. You can't use generic cards. You can't use Omni Lords, cards that can be used in all flags, or even Lost World. You can only stick to the crossover cards, which is what the main gimmick of the thing is, so I guess it makes sense. So when talking about cards that are interfering with flags, the first thing you think of is Ultimate Great Spell World Pandemic from Plague. It flips over your opponent's flag, and flipped over flags are considered blank cards. They don't have any text, meaning that they don't have any abilities, so there are special interactions to understand with this. Using Dragon World as the example, if this card gets World Pandemic, I cannot use any cards with Dragon World in their text. So buy most of my deck, no generic cards that the flag states I could originally use. However, I am allowed to use Omni Lords since they can be used under any flag, even blank flags. Also, cards that can be used in all flags like Gargantua Dragon, I can use, and of course I can change my flag with Lost World. However, the Lost World will only cover a blank flag, so it won't get any additional abilities, so you can only use Lost World cards, but at least you'll be able to play your cards. Note that if you have a card like the Gargantua Dragon, which allows you to use all Dragouts from Old World, even if your flag gets pandemicked, you can use old Dragouts even if they don't have the Dragout keyword on them, because the Gargantua's Dragon's buddy effect will still be active. However, this does not apply to cards like Gem Clone, since your flag will no longer be Hero World. You cannot just use other impact monsters. Also, if your Dragon's Y gets flipped face down, you cannot change it to Dragon Dry when your life points hit 0 because you are no longer in control of a Dragon's Y. But of course, if you have the Chaos, you can upgrade to Infinity the Chaos with the spell. That is still allowed. The second flag interaction will be Censors of Curse. It's mostly important because there says specified cards under flag, so if you were to evolve your flag into anything, there would still be a card under your flag. So Dragon Dry, Lost Worlds, or Infinity Chaos, there's still a card under your flag, which would then count towards the 15 needed for Censors of Curse. So if you're facing against Curse Dragon, keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I can say about flags right now. Hopefully this video was helpful, gets over some things that you have questions about. But until then, I'm Everyday Buddy Fighter, and I will see you later.